How does someone actively do work on visualization? How an everyday person?
You start visualizing, you start thinking about, thing is, look, if I want to pass an exam, a lot of people, the way we're wired, and this comes down to evolution because we're always looking for the negatives. We all know that once you create an idea in your head, we always look for things that are going to go wrong. We don't sit there and focus about how great it's going to be when we get that. Whether that's starting a new business, relationship, whatever it is, whether it's taking your exams, you always think about the panic of not passing, the panic of what could go wrong, and that's what we end up visualizing. You know what I mean? And it's about just changing that energy to be more positive. So really, the thing is with this, you'll get so many people that disbelieve and will never engage in it, but when they do it once, they only need a little taste, and once they've got a little taste to know that this stuff really does work, that will change their life forever. You know, you guys must know yourself that happens. You know, once you get a taste that this stuff works, it's contagious, like you wouldn't believe. And that, you know, I could tell people, me and my partner, my fiance, Laura, we could tell people stories that no one would believe us. No one would believe a word. You know, the coincidences, if you want to call them that, they're not coincidences. Once you've got yourself lined up spiritually, once you've created that bandwidth that is way away from fear, because fear doesn't allow for creativity, the opportunities are already there. Everything's already lined up. A lot of people say in life that, oh, well, you know, I can't wait for the opportunities to line up. They're already there. It's you that've got to line yourself up. And that's when you come from a place of belief and when you're not living in a state of fear. And unfortunately, at the moment, it's amplified at the moment, fear is driving society. Through the news, through everything, through the current COVID pandemic, fear is driving society because that's the only way you can control a society. We live in this, you look at the news, you look at the newspapers, everything is fear. But once you disengage from that, I mean, I don't read any newspapers, I don't watch the news, I don't watch TV. If I do watch TV, it's something very specific, you know, a film or whatever. But I'm very conscious about the content that goes into here. And really, you know, once people have a taste of visualization, you know, I do online courses where I get people to sit down and meditate. For me, meditation, again, people think, how can this guy from the Special Forces meditate? That's Glastonbury hippie stuff. Meditation for me is my focused attention at an intention. It's my moment for me to visualize, create calmness in here, and be able to visualize on what I want, okay? And once I learn to create that stillness of mind, it allows that clarity of vision to what I want. Our heads have 70,000 thoughts, probably more, going round each day. Now, if you don't focus on some things that you want out of that 70,000 thoughts, you're going to end up with a load of crap that you don't want. And that's the problem with people. They allow the 70,000 thoughts just to be like this washing machine of ideas, and they don't define what they want in life. So that's why they're basically just bouncing like a pinball from side to side, not knowing where they're going, and that's being decided for them. But it's just about creating clear vision and intent for what you want. And that, for me, you know, is such an important process, and which came years later. That morning routine for me is a life changer. You know, it's where I set myself up for each and every day, and I dominate each and every day. We definitely, when you say smell, taste, everything, you've lived that moment before it happens. Yeah. We believe that completely, like we really do. Like with this place and stuff like that, we've already been here, we've already done it, and when you get it, you're not surprised by it or anything like that. It's just, it was meant to happen. Yeah. One thing I loved that I think is really good for people who haven't tasted it before is, this will help them get out of bed, in my opinion, is when you talk about getting out of your wet kit and getting into your dry kit, and how you used to visualize getting into your wet kit in the morning. So can you talk about that and how you did that? I forgot that point. I loved it. Yeah, no, a part of the jungle training is the fact that, you know, you operate throughout your daytime. One great thing about the jungle is the fact as soon as it goes dark, that you can't operate because it's so dense, the foliage is so dense. So what you do, you set up a harbor position and then you put your hammocks up in darkness. And the routine you go through every day is you always have a dry set of kit, always, in your bag. So at the end of the day, when you get into the jungle, your body starts to rot. So by the end of 6, your feet are rotten, you absolutely stink. The ammonia and everything from you is disgusting. And one luxury, your only luxury you do have is that when it is dark, when you've set everything up in the dark, it's pitch black, you can't see a thing, and you've set up all your bed, your hammock, your bed system and everything, your overhead cover in the pitch black. You then reach into your backpack and you pull out your dry kit, and your dry kit is just like heaven, absolute heaven. So you take your wet kit off, which is stinking, you put that in a bag, put that away, and then you put your dry kit on, and it's like unbelievable. It's just luxury beyond anything you've ever experienced before. But then the flip side to that is the next morning, you have to have everything packed away in pitch black. There's no alarm clocks or anything, you're just working on your body clock. You have to have everything away so that when the sun peaks over the horizon and there's any aspect of light whatsoever, you're all waiting with your weapons up ready, ready to go. Because that's the most likely time of attack from the enemy. But the thing is, to get to that point, you then have to pull in your old wet kit from the day before, and in pitch black, you have to change out your dry kit, put your dry kit in a bag, put that back into your backpack, and then you have to put on your stinking wet kit, and it is absolutely feral. You do this every day, and it was the smell, it's just pungent, and you're putting on this cold, wet, damp kit. And every day I just had to, I was saying to myself that message, and it was like, oh, I love these Armanis. These are the best Armani. I look so good in these Armani. I wasn't saying it, but that's going through my head, and that's the only way I got through it. And I just made it into something else. It's all about reframing. It's still cold and it's still wet, but the whole mental game of me focus on the inconvenience and discomfort of it had gone. I did that every day, and it just helped me get through. And it's that messaging with everything, that bleeds into every aspect of your life. It's just how you frame things.
What's the simple way so we can apply that to them?
Simple way. I think, to be quite honest, it's like with everything. Let's try and relate this to people taking exams, for instance, or something like that. If you're going to sit there and think, about how much the study is getting you down, how much you hate doing what you're doing, the more you focus in that, like I said to you before, you're not focusing on your goal. You're not focusing on something different that pulls you out of that situation. So you're lost in your circumstances of that moment. You become a victim of them. And the only way that internal messaging is just to get yourself through that is like, one thing I say about goals is not, a lot of times you have big, ballsy goals, and they should always be ballsy. It should be something that you doubt your ability to achieve. But the thing is, you should have mini goals. A big goal should always, you never have a goal that you can achieve. You have a goal that scares the shit out of you. You should always have that. But the goal must be able to be broken down into small chunks. So really it's about, when you're going through that hard stuff, it's about creating a small, short-term goal that gets you from moment to moment to moment. But it's that whole internal messaging. If you sit there and you're studying for an exam or something like that, and you're focusing on how shit this is and how much time it's taken and how you're not enjoying it, you won't pass it.